DEUCES WILD, bitches!
And we are off and running, even though we had some technical difficulties. We are running.
Yeah, man. So I don't have my headset on. I don't know what happened to it. I got my wife's computer because my other computer's been shitting out. But it's the world that we live in, and just to be able to be here right now, you're in backwoods Louisiana, somewhere out there in the swamps, and I am in Lake Tahoe. We get to come on here, put the Giants game on in the background, gorgeous Oracle Park, and just talk ball, man.
It's amazing, ain't it? It's amazing. Even backwoods Louisiana has better computer reception than Greater Tahoe, California. So you can't say jack nothing, buddy.
Dude, I really can't. I mean, there's nothing to say. This is a situation where
I do have to comment because TC's in the room with me. He's over here in Loving Life, and he saw your new Missouri Motorboater shirt. How about you one time?
You motorboating son of a bitch.
That's right. That's how we roll. Instead of got a baseball bat on the chest, we got a paddle in the ball. God damn it, we got a paddle in the ball.
Yeah. Dude, this is so Louisiana. I mean, every time I put this thing on, I think about, what was it, Wedding Crashers, the famous quote, and then for whatever reason, I think of the Water Boy and one of those. What are those boats that you guys rolling out there, man?
Airboats.
What
got the big prop on the back and push you through the swamp.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep, airboats.
Do they keep you out of the water to avoid getting nipped by the alligators?
No, that's not it. The thing about it is you can run the damn thing over the top of concrete. I mean, you can run it in like no water at all, and that's why they use them down here. So much swamps we got, and even the people like at Energy and stuff like that do the electrical and all that, they run them things in the swamp because they got to go fix stuff out there.
Interesting. You guys live in a whole different planet, man.
Yeah, we got some stuff going on out here, but hey, that's what we talked about, last time. We're going to talk about it when I get my motorboat shirt, but we talk about it. It was like that episode with Charlie Sheen where his girlfriend was going to get a boob reduction, and he said, "Let me see what they're like." And so the guy gave him a little silicone one. He says, "You got the partner to that one?" And he got the other silicone thing, and he went like that. And it was like, oh my God. So then when you brought up the motorboaters, I'm like, I know what that reminded me of.
So you got your gear coming your way. Hey, first and foremost, let's get our sponsors out of the way. Bet online, or let's celebrate them, I should say.
Yeah, let's celebrate them.
Gambling destination. Get all of your latest news, scores, odds, and predictions at Bet Online. Do not forget to put in the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. Bet Online for all you degenerates out there. How about this, Thrill? Paul Skeens, and I know Trey was, I think, following this one. He's pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight, or he was at least. He went 6 1/3, 5 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, now a 2.43 ERA from the California kid by way of Air Force, and then, of course, LSU. He was in your neck of the woods last season.
Yeah, no, you're right. And, kid's got a lot of stuff, man. He throws 2 fastballs, throws 4-seamer, 2-seamer. He's got a split. He's got a breaking ball to go with it. He runs it up there 100 miles an hour. Big presence out on the mound, too. He's a big fella. And, he's been doing a great job. Pittsburgh not only has him, but they got a lefty in their rotation, too. What's his name, Trey? You remember?
I forgot.
Anyway, they got a lefty who's a newbie, too, and they're running 2 of those dudes out there, and they're doing a pretty good job for him right now.
Well, you know who's in after Skeens? No rest for the weary. or for the people that don't like 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, because Aroldis Chapman is in the game. He now pitched 2/3 of an inning. He hasn't given up shit. He got this 104 the other night.
Huh. Interesting. I hadn't seen Chapman, throw since he was with the Yankees, so I kind of lost track of him. So
he's been bouncing around Kansas City and Texas.
Yeah, Trey says he's bouncing around Kansas City and Texas too as well. So kind of lost track of him.
I got to apologize about my shitty connection too.
That's all right. That's all right. And on top of that, you're freezing up a little bit. I'm just staying with you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean,
I'm with you.
Libby, you and Trey could hold the show down until I get back. So, Thrill, this brings up a conversation that you and I talked about a little bit earlier today. There was an article that I read, and it was about comments that irritate current Major League Baseball players the most. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on this. And I'm gonna walk you through the article before the Giants game starts here. And I'll give you some of the quotes, and I'd just love to see your reaction to them. I'll start at the top. It says, when Athletic conducted its annual MLB player poll this season, our writers asked an open-ended question of veterans and young players alike. What is the most irritating criticism you hear from former players? Their answers did not disappoint, to quote the late Jerry Stiller as Frank Costanza and Seinfeld. These current players, quote, got a lot of problems with you. Now you're going to hear about it. A lot of the players' responses, 82 overall, fell into familiar categories. Former players critiquing the unwritten rules, on-field celebrations, the use of analytics, and the general toughness of players these days. We'll get to those in a minute. Some responses were just weird. Quote, one knee catching, according to one catcher. But by far, the most common responses fell into one of two buckets. Number one, today's hitters venting that former players don't respect how difficult it is to hit modern pitching. And number two, today's pitchers venting that former players say modern pitchers do not know how to pitch and need to throw more strikes. So we're going to start with the hitters here. Now then, we'll get your reaction. Here is the first quote. People say guys don't care about putting the ball in play. One National League fielder said, do you watch?
He froze up on us.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so looks like Byrnes, he froze up on us. Everybody still in the chat room? If y'all are, fire away. So I think he was headed towards, putting the ball in play, and if the modern day players don't put it in play as much as the older players. And I kind of agree with that, believe it or not. Even the strikeouts. I mean, the strikeouts are astronomical now, but it was part of the game back then, but people didn't take it like lying down. They were pissed. They wanted to learn from it. They thought that, if they struck out and they went back, to the dugout, that they were a failure, and it didn't help the team out, didn't put any pressure on the defense. And so for me personally, that's kind of where I see it. There's way too many guys that strike out and they walk off the field like, oh, okay, all right, just another strikeout. When I struck out, I'd be pissed off. And it was like, not only did I fail myself, I failed the team because I didn't give them a good look. I didn't put the ball in play. I didn't put pressure on the defense, whatever it might be. So that's my thoughts on that. As far as the pitching side of things goes, and the kind of quotation on that, the one thing that guys do now is they rear back and they chunk the hell out of it. You guys know it. You guys have seen it going on quite a bit, right? And so for me personally, look, you can stand from me to you, right, and tell me a fastball's coming. I'm going to time it up. That wasn't what made a really good major league hitter back then. The major league hitters back then had to adjust to the breaking balls, had to adjust to the changeups, had to adjust to the umpires calling balls that far off the plate. Now, you look at the box on TV, and it's got to go through that box. Otherwise, it's not a strike. So, the older players could have definitely, patterned their game to this game right here. No problems. And, people say, oh, we didn't have guys that threw hard. That's bullshit. We had a lot of guys that threw hard. And so, it'd have been no problems adjusting to the game. Another thing too, and, we've talked about it on numerous occasions. I know you guys in the chat room know it, but it's like, Jesus, you have got to be kidding me. This game's getting soft. I mean, the commissioner's letting this game turn to nothing. I mean, you can't hit nobody. You can't take anybody out. You got to go straight into the bag. You can't veer off. You can't do any of this. They doing stupid stuff where they're making the bases bigger. All these rules and stuff have made the game really soft. So that's what I got for you there. You guys want some questions? Fire them up in the chat room. We'll go to hacking on them here. And I agree with you, Big Mike. Some of the work ethic. Look, dude, I'd get there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, watch a little video, find out what the guy is going to try to do me today, and I'd go work on it and take 100 swings. Take that back, not 100 swings, 200 swings, working on what that guy was going to do me. And so that's kind of where the work ethic has gone. Oh, here's Byrnesy back. Another thing too. And Eric and I have talked about it, and Eric came up at the tail end of it. But, not only the work ethic, but also the fact that we took infield and outfield. Now guys don't even go out there and take fly balls, much less take infield and outfield. So I think that work ethic, needs to get a little bit better. All right, Barnes, run with it. We covered the hitters, and I went to the pitchers a little bit, and then Big Mike asked a question about work ethic. So chat room's firing up right now.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's such a touchy topic. I'm not sure if you got the full quote that I read, but
no, I didn't get it, but you had told me earlier, so I kind of knew where we were headed, and I gave my 2 cents on it just now with the guys in the audience, guys and girls in the audience.
Okay, I'd love to get your reaction to this quote specifically. It says, do you watch the old games on TV? The skill level of the game is so much better now. The infielders are great. They have arm strength. Those pitchers back in the day stink. One of our AAA guys would have been like the best closer in baseball 15 years ago. Will Clark, your thoughts?
My thoughts, that right there is whoever had that quote right there, he's living in freaking La La Land. I can tell you that right now. Good Lord Almighty. But I mean, hell, you were a San Francisco Giant fan. You went to Candlestick. You saw what that field looked like after the 49ers got on it. Looked like a goddamn minefield out there. And what do we do? Matt Williams, Robbie Thompson, Jose Uribe just picked the shit out of it and made it look easy. All right? Now, these fields that these guys play on now, if you get a bad hop, they run at a ground screw. Oh, my God, I got a bad hop. You need to make sure the ball stays down. Dude, if I could tell you how many times I damn near got hair lipped at Candlestick. So, that's just another one of them little bitching, whining things that some of the modern day players do.
Why is it that these current guys think that they have it so much harder? You're around them. You spend time around these guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of these guys, I just don't get it. I mean, there's certain guys, I'll walk up to them and I'm like, look, if you're going to throw this pitch, you need to throw it in this area, because if you throw it in another area, that's where I'm going to be hunting. And they look at me like, what are you talking about? My pitches, my shapes are really good, and, I can get it in there. I go, dude, if I'm hunting in there and you come in there, you're in a fucking boatload of trouble. I don't care what your pitch shape is and your spin rate and all that bullshit. And that's like, it was either Linda or Nora came on there and said, how fast is fast? 100, 102. you and I even talk about it. The way that the old radar guns worked was that the ball was at home plate, not out of the hand, which is where the radar guns are now. And so like Nolan Ryan was getting clocked at, 98, 100 miles an hour, but that's when the ball was at home plate. It wasn't out of his hand. He might have been throwing 104, 105, 108, who knows what. So, here's the thing. Every generation thinks that the generation before him sucked. All right. But if you were a history buff of the game, like I was, like you were, that you knew how good Willie Mays was. You knew how good, Orlando Cepeda was. You knew how good even the generation before that, Ted Williams and, Babe Ruth and those guys, how good they were. Stan Musial. You know what kind of athlete they are. And no matter what generation they played in, they were the best of their generation, the whole freaking generation. So they'd have been the best of this generation just because of what they were made of. And I had that talk with Casey Schmidt, that dumbass. And, I told him, I said, dude, if you got HOF behind your name, you're a bad son of a bitch. I don't care what generation you played in. And he just don't get it. He's like, well, Babe Ruth played, with a 42-inch bat and big chest protectors and nobody threw 88 miles an hour. I go, dude, that was the 1920s. I said, you don't get it. I said, he hit more homers than whole other ball clubs. That's how good he was. He hit more homers than the whole freaking ball club that he's playing against. I said, you can't even hit a freaking slider, so kiss my ass.
Dude, that's so good. I don't quite understand. I can tell you, like, it's a history buff where, I grew up obviously watching the Giants teams of the 80s and watching This Week in Baseball with Mel Allen narrating every Saturday. It was just an awesome experience. Loved the game. And I went back as I got to the big leagues. And so we're talking, I got the big leagues in 2000. I played till 2010. And I would look at old footage of the 1980s. And the one thing that really resonated with me was how much movement that these guys had on their pitches. And it wasn't so much that they were throwing as hard. They were throwing nearly as hard. But the most important thing that I really it was a light bulb that went off. Is like, holy shit, man, that ball's dancing. And so I think they, as the years have gone on, they've got a lot better about it. But motherfuckers used to scuff the shit out of baseballs, the sandpaper, whatever it took, the tobacco juice, spitballs on it, and everything else. And then you guys, right? Even the generation before you was worse than that. Generation before you was worse than that. Yeah. And then back in the day, they were hitting balls that looked like fucking this, right? Yeah. I mean, so everyone's got their complaints on why and how.
Exactly.
It was hard.
And that's one of the things, I mean, if you think about it, that's why Babe Ruth used a 40-inch bat and, a tree trunk and all that. He's hitting freaking rocks is what he's hitting. Now with the technology of the baseball, these baseballs right now, all right, and I'm just telling you this because I go around, I see the major leagues, I see the minor leagues. Dude, they don't even have to catch one square, and that ball gets out of the ballpark. I mean, we had to hit the shit out of one. Now you got these little 5'8" dudes that aren't even catching them real good, and the balls are going out, and you're like, wait a second, what the hell is going on here? And then, like you talked about, scuffing the ball. If there's any mark on the ball, guys look at it and they throw it out. Well, that's what dudes back in the day used to make the ball move with was, scuffs and movement and hand position and getting off on the side of the ball so I could get movement. Now, dude, here's the common sense part. All right. So here I am. I'm a hitter, right? And you cut it loose. If it's right there at 96, when it gets to me, it's going to be right here at 96. It's the same freaking thing. All right. You got Greg Maddux, who's throwing 88, 89, cutting it up, cheating, the whole works. When it's right there, when it gets to me, it's over here. All right, you got to do a much better job of hitting, a much better job of guessing where the ball's going to wind up, all that sort of stuff. And that's why I told you. And then, Linda, we even made light of 102, 100, whatever. Dude, when you see it out there and when it gets to you, it's in the same spot. All I got to do is work on my timing. Once I work on my timing, I'm going to hit it. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, dude. So earlier today, I was looking at it, and there's an article that had the 10 fastest pitchers of all time, and I don't know exactly when it was last updated or whatever, but a lot of these guys that were showing up were like contemporaries of mine. Well, something really interesting is the specific quote that says 15 years ago, the AAA guy, whatever, one of our AAA guys would have been the best guy in the bullpen. I don't know what the fuck this dude was doing 15 years ago that was trying to talk this shit, but I'm going to bring up a couple guys that 15 years ago were already pitching in the major leagues, and that's Justin Verlander and it's Max Scherzer. There's another one, Aroldis Chapman, who showed up in the big leagues 14 years ago, and here he is in there 15 years later, still throwing 104 miles per hour. So you have Scherzer and Verlander, who now at 40 are still cutting these motherfuckers up, and he's trying to say it's so much tough. Dude, you can't hit our shit that was there 15 fucking years ago, and you still can't fucking hit it. It's getting worse and worse. Golly.
Hey, we had this, all right? And so we've told this story on the show before, and for the people in the chat room that don't remember it, I mean, I had some pitchers come up to me. I'm a rookie second-year player, right? And so our gloves, on the bottom of our gloves, we used to have rivets. And so the guys are like, hey, I need you to cut the ball up. And I'm like, well, how you want me to cut the ball up? They're like, pull up your rivets. And so they basically told me what to do. So I went and got a pair of needle-nose pliers, and I pulled up all the rivets on the bottom of my glove. So I catch a ball at first base, whack. I get in there, I get it, and I go, whoo. And I freaking cut the shit out of it, and I throw it around to the shortstop, right? And, it took me about a month, but, I mean, I'm getting the hang of this. I'm whack. I grab the ball, and boom, I cut it, boom, and I throw it to shortstop. The ball goes, woo, one time, woo, that time. One of those numbers. And so I get it one day, I grab it, boom, freaking around it goes, right? And the pitcher gets the ball, he looks, and he's on the mound, he looks at me, he goes, hey, you all right? And I go, yeah, why? He goes, look at your hand. And I look down at my hand, and I had missed the ball, and I just had freaking just razor bladed my fingers, right? And I'm just bleeding like a stuck pig over there. And he goes, you want to get a Band-Aid? I go, hell no, they're going to know we're cheating. Throw the ball, hurry up, let's go. So that was how we did it back in the day. Plus, as you well know, Candlestick was crushed brick on the infield. Any ball that hit the ground had a big old scuff on it. And the pitchers would get it back, they'd look at it, and they'd just get a big old smile on their face, and then off they went. So it's a skill. It's a skill. You got to want to do it. Now these guys are like, no, I don't get the feel of the ball. Hey, dude, you need to make the ball move. That's what you need to do. Look at a guy like Logan Webb. Look what he does. I mean, second in the Cy Young last year by making the ball move. This year, he's having a really solid year. Yeah, he doesn't have the wins because we ain't scored no runs for him, but he's having a great year making the ball move. That's how you become a pitcher and not a thrower.
Interesting, because I feel like we have a lot more throwers than we do actually have pitchers these days.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And so here's another one. They even brought it up. I forget who. Somebody said, went 5 or 6. Shit, I wish guys would go 5 or 6. They go 4 now, and they got 85, 90 pitches and damn near take themselves out the game. Why? Because they don't throw a fastball down to have the ball put in play. They throw fastballs up, and what happens? Whack, foul ball. Whack, foul ball. Whack, foul ball. That's what drives your pitch count up. Throw fastballs down. Let it be put in play. It saves pitches. It gets you later in the game.
One of the things when I tried to compare how it is today to how it was back then, and this might be for good reason, but I felt like back in the day, so let's just go back 15, 20, 30 years, whatever it is. You see a deep fly ball by Bailey out to center field to be 2 outs. But I just felt like everyday players played every day. I now look at these guys that are supposed to be quote unquote everyday players, and nobody fucking plays every day.
Nobody plays every day, and people ask for days off. I can't get it. I can't wrap my head around, as much as you and I and Trey's sitting right here, as much as we love to play baseball and we love being on a baseball field. I'm never asking for a day off, ever. That was my job. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be out there. I came to the ballpark. I had a routine. I was prepared every day. I didn't give a rat's ass whether it was a right-hander, left-hander, Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, or some no-name. I am going to be in the batter's box, and you're getting my A game every day. And why people ask for days off now, I don't freaking get it.
So here's Matt Chapman, bottom of the first, 2 outs, 1-1 count. He's facing Ronel Blanco. This guy pitches a little bit. He's one of those guys who's not crazy overpowering. That's 93-mile-per-hour fastball in off the plate, Thrill. This feels like this is a throwback to a guy that would have pitched back in your day.
Right. You're right. So, that's the thing about the guys. We're trying to make the ball move because they wanted the ball put in play quick and on the ground for the most part. So this is going to be interesting coming back to the field to play. Very nicely done.
Jeremy Pena holds that in. Matt Chapman a little bit ahead of the breaking ball. Okay.
Yeah. He was actually, it looked like he was looking for that break ball. He had a good swing. He just missed it. So, but anyway.
All right.
Yeah, there's some other things. I mean, just and we talked about it while you were off air for a minute, is just the baby flying of the game. You grew up the same way I did, same way everybody in that chat room grew up. Every now and then we had our asses kicked, and look, I saw stars. I couldn't tell you how many times I saw stars. And what did I do? Just fucking shake it off and off we go. People see stars now. Concussion protocol. I got to miss 7 games or a week or whatever. It's like, come on, dude. Let's go. Man up. Get out there. And that's the one thing that I've seen here lately where I shake my head. I mean, I played 15 years in the big leagues, right? We did not have one guy on all of my teams have a concussion. Not one.
Well, you had not one that reported a concussion.
Oh yeah, exactly. Nobody reported it. They're like, piss on that. I'm playing. Let's go.
It's interesting because obviously I played high school football, and anyone who ever played football,
there you go.
You get your belt wrong.
There you go.
Like there's like a ringing sensation in the helmet, and you never know it until you finally had it right. And so it was Nick Watt. Got me a linebacker, ended up going to Stanford, played 4 straight years. But this dude, when I was a sophomore, got called up to varsity. He put me onto the fucking track that surrounded the football field. And I was running to the corners, and just, whoo, see ya. Next level.
Hey, so we got some silly stuff going on. Linda just asked, she said, why didn't the visitors' dugout candlestick not have a bathroom in it? Well, it had a urinal, but it didn't have a bathroom. And so that's where the Tommy Lasorda story came from, is with the cardboard box. So, you got to remember too, Candlestick, Linda, was a dual use. It was football too. And so, they kind of didn't have the room because that was kind of, believe it or not, on the sidelines. So, I don't know. I don't know why they did it, why, it didn't have it, because, that's just the way it was. That's the ballpark I inherited. That's the ballpark I played in. So
give everybody a quick refresher on the Tommy Lasorda story.
So every time we played the Dodgers, right? I don't know, 3rd, 4th inning or something like that. I'd go down for a play and I'd come back up, and then in between innings, I'd turn around, and here comes one of their, assistant trainers. He's running with a cardboard box. And it took a minute, for it to kind of sink in because, I'm at first base. I'm looking right in their dugout, and then you'd see Tommy disappear for a little while, and he'd come back out, and then here comes the trainer running back out with the box. And a few times it's because it's younger trainers and stuff. I said, Tommy took a shit right there. He goes, oh, yeah. He said, that was a bad one. He's freaking sprinting right by me. Fun stuff.
The only question is, I'm curious what he used to wipe his ass.
I don't know. Who knows? I wasn't even going to question that. I'm glad you questioned it. Oh my God! Funny stuff.
If
Funny
you just have a urinal, you're not going to have toilet paper.
Oh, dude, it's so freaking stupid. So stupid. Yeah, but we also went over some of the pictures. Talk about look at a guy with the nastiest probably stuff that you're going to face is Blake Snell, but he's one of those kind of guys that that, hey, look, if I battle and I grind Blake Snell, he's going to be out the game in the fourth or fifth, and then we're going to have to deal with the bullpen, which is probably better than having to deal with him. And it was the same thing. It was the same thing with some of the guys that we faced. A left-handed pitcher, big Hawaiian from the Mets was Sid Fernandez. Dude, He had great stuff. Great stuff. Same guy, though. He threw a lot of high fastballs, got a lot of foul balls, and he was the guy that we always said going into the game, and everybody knew this, going into the game, look, if we stay close to him, he's going to make a mistake. Somebody's going to take him out the ballpark, and we're going to win this game. And, he had some success, don't get me wrong, but we also won a lot of games against him just by staying close and knowing that he's going to make a mistake, and then we'll get in their bullpen.
Yeah, the interesting thing is you used to try to get into the bullpen as quickly as possible. And now it seems like they try to go to their bullpen as quickly as possible. How times have changed.
Exactly. Yeah, no. And here's another thing too. All right. So you and I have even talked about it. And I've had these conversations with some of our pitchers in San Francisco. I'm like, look, if I had to face you, this is what I would look off of you, and this is why. So I'm giving you not only the pitch that I'm looking off of you, but I'm giving you the reason behind why I'm looking off of that pitch. And guys are just like, look at me and go, well, that's just my stuff. And I go, you just don't get it. You don't get it. You got a freaking all-star that's telling you how he's hunting pitches on you, and you won't pay attention. Why don't you pay attention? Maybe you stay away from that pitch, and somebody else won't hunt it off of your ass. So anyway, so these are the kind of things that that you kind of deal with, and that goes back to what we talked about. I learned a lot of the game, and you and I have had this conversation after the game is over, and we had the round robin, and we're drinking 200 beers, and we got 20 guys in the freaking clubhouse. When the pitchers are talking, I'm listening as much to the pitchers as I am to the position players. So,
yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Thrill, something that I just thought about was I'm trying to think how 15, 20, 30 years ago we were even worthy of playing this game that these guys are so privileged to play now, and how much easier it was for all of us. For whatever reason, I just keep thinking about the fact that as somebody who played clean through the steroid era, and I know you as well, I mean, when these guys today want to bring up all this shit about how much more difficult it is, they didn't have to face these juiced up, beamed up motherfuckers looking to fucking tear your head off, dude. That was a whole different animal back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, they had some guys that, oh my God, they were like balls to the wall. So you look at them and they're not even blinking, and you're like, uh-oh, what's wrong with that guy? But you knew what was wrong with him. But it was just a different game. I mean, we even talk about it all the time. You know, guys and girls in the chat room talk about it. But, you know, for these guys that play the game now to say that we didn't do this or we didn't do that, hey, it's the same damn game. All right. Matter of fact, if anything, it's an easier game today than it was back then because you had to play. If you did not play, and I'm talking about hurt, all right? If you did not play, somebody's going to try to come take your job. I didn't want nobody to take my job. So here's one for you. You and I talk about this, all right? So I found out that Matt Chapman had like some hip issues, right? And it's his back hip. So there was some I guess you want to say TikToks or whatever. Somebody posted something about me and Chapman behind the cage. All right. So what I'm telling Chapman is, look, because of your back hip and, you know, you may be having a little bit of pain and stuff like that, you're collapsing, all right, dropping that elbow, and you're kind of up under the ball away from you. I said, I need you to stay taller, right, in order to stay on top of that ball away from you. And so he like looked at me and he goes, yeah, you know, how do I go about that? I go, look, I said, I did not know this. I did not know that, you know, you had, you know, hip issues. I said, let's do this. I said, so here's your feet. I said, let's turn your feet just a little bit. I said, so you're kind of open a little bit more and it takes the pressure off of your back hip and it's an easier swing to get to the outside part of the plate, stay tall and not collapse. And he started working on it in the cage that day. Whack! He freaking drills one to right center, you know. And after the game, man, I went up, gave him a big high five, and he said, you know, that felt so much better, and you know, it was shorter to the ball, and it allowed me to get there, you know, those kind of things. But that's how a guy back in the day that played hurt, we made those little adjustments. And guys that would come to first base would even talk about making those adjustments. So it was kind of known, kind of league wide, how you play a little on the banged up side.
Conforto drives one deep to left field, not enough. All right, Thrill, I'm going to ask you this because this is something I posted right before we came on here. I was talking about it on the Daily Hustle earlier today, and basically we were discussing. John Gall was on with me for a few minutes. And we're discussing velocity and the difference between how they measure velocity now, how they measure velocity back then. We then went into some of the pitchers, some of the hardest throwers. A lot of them are guys that you and I both faced. But then we did bring up the fact that why have the strikeout numbers gone through the roof? Sure, the average fastball velocity may be up a mile per hour, a couple miles per hour than what it was 15, 20 years ago, but why the astronomical number of strikeouts? And so I broke it down very simply. I just want to get your thoughts on this. A lot of what's being taught and a lot of what players are doing is they're instantly either lowering their hands and trying to swing up to the baseball. And so the way to counter that is simple.
Number one. That is number one thing that I see across the board, no matter what level. Kids, high school, college, pros. Exactly that right there. Keep going.
Okay, so if my path is up to the baseball, the pitcher's going to counter that, obviously, with a high fastball. Well, when you come up to the baseball like this, what's this called? That's a fucking hole in your swing, dude. So we're here, you throw under here, you're done. And then it leaves you susceptible, of course, to the breaking ball away. So you're going to get a shit ton of breaking balls away. You're going to get fastballs up. And that leads to strikeouts. Want to just get your quick thoughts on, the reason you think that the strikeout numbers have continued to rise and what we can do about it.
1,000% in agreement with you. All right. So here you are. You want to keep your bat pass straight. All right. Bat stays straight. Bat pass stays straight. All right. If the ball's up, my hands come up. If the ball's down, my hands go down. Okay. But as soon as I start doing stuff with my shoulders and elbow where I drop this and then whoom, bat head drops, I'm screwed, and kind of exactly what you're talking about. Not only am I going to have problems catching up to the high fastball, which is what they're doing now, all right, they're throwing high fastballs, but then when I do this, I open up a hole in. There's a hole. This is the Brandon Belt discussion we had all year long, is I'll open up a hole in, so I got a hole in that I cannot hit. The only thing I can do is maybe foul it off. All right. Then when you're down like this, any breaking ball down, all right, when I get to it, I'm going to roll, all right, so I'm going to hit a ground ball. So you wind up by this approach of not staying flat and dropping and all that sort of stuff. You wind up creating 2 holes in your swing, and big holes, all right? Exactly what you are talking about. When I go see these kids, you know, whether it be in San Jose or Eugene and all that, this is the number one thing that you have to fix all the time, because that's the first thing that happens. Another thing too is, dude, it's a leverage thing, all right? If anybody took engineering like I did in school, you use leverage, you use height, you use tallness. You don't want to squat down. You don't want to bend over like this. And all of that stuff plays into exactly what you were talking about.
Well, as you were talking about it, Soler went down on a high fastball, swung right underneath that thing. Yeah, it's fascinating. You said something basically about, like, if the ball's up, you know, you go to it up, the ball's down, like where you come to it down.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? So,
all right. So a perfect example. All right. Look, and you know this, and most of the people in the chat room. If I'm going to punch you, I'm not going to go boom, boom. I'm going to go wham, wham. I'm going to get a little something behind it, right? Same thing with a baseball bat. I'm not going to go from here and whack. I'm going to go, oh, bam. You know, one of those numbers. And in our terms, as you well know, it's called a load. All right. Everybody back in the day had a load, some sort of way or another. Now you got a lot of guys that are just going, they go like this. You know, it's like, come on, dude. And so that's why they get in the weight room, so they can get so freaking strong, because they don't get a freaking load to where now I'm going to launch the shit out of this thing. And, you know, for me personally, all of this was timing, all right? All of this was timing. My whole load was timing on the pitcher, and it was always the same thing. Watch. It was always the same thing. Backing up, backing up, backing up. And then guess what? A high fastball, back and a little bit more up and get on top of it, okay? And so these were the things that guys came to first base and talked about. So I'm paying attention. I'm going to get in the cage. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to try to put it into my game. And the more you put this stuff in your game, the better of a hitter you became. It's like, holy shit. You know, no wonder freaking, you know, Keith Hernandez and Willie Stargell and, you know, Dave Parker and, you know, Tony Gwynn. No wonder they're talking about this shit. It works. Now I just got to believe what they're doing. And it wound up being fabulous.
Dude, I love the thought and idea that if I'm here, and all of a sudden, right, we're getting ready. I'm getting ready to my A position. Now I'm in A position. So I'll do from the side where you see it. I'm in A position, and I read out of the hand high fastball. It's like,
yeah, and it's not that much. It might be that much, but it's that you just keep your hands up a little higher. Whack, you're on top of the ball, and you freaking dead center one. Hell, that was the Mitch Williams swing up the middle. 98 heater up. I had just had the same pitch. I fouled off, and I was like, oh, shit, I just got to get on top of it. And it winds up being the same pitch. And I got just a hair higher whack on top of it. You know, and, you know, I watch these guys now that swing off of these, you know, like we talked about, 96, 97, whatever the shit these guys are throwing. Hell, I don't know. But they're working from up under the ball. You need to work from up on top of it or on the same plane of it. There you go.
And for you current players, and specifically the one that made the quote that said, those guys, they stink, referring to the guys that played 15, 20, 30 years ago. And also that the pitchers didn't have any velocity back then. 1989, Mitch Williams was throwing 100 fucking miles per hour from the left side, you dumbasses.
Left
Jeez,
on left.
holy
Left
shit.
on left. Hey, look, and then we even talk about it. You and I talk about it. I mean, there were guys that the modern day player has no idea who these dudes are. All right? A guy that I faced in Pittsburgh that was, oh my God, the first time I saw him, I'm like, who is this dude? He was coming out the bullpen, John Smiley. Left-handed, throwing 98, and I'm like, oh my God, ooh, I got my work cut out for me here. Another guy came out of Pittsburgh, another freaking flamethrower, was a big dude by the name of Bob Veal. Bob Veal could throw it through a freaking brick wall. Then, we talk, you got Nolan, you talk about Nolan, but then they had J.R. Richard, and then, then you and I even talked about it before, but Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez were in the same bullpen in Montreal. I'm like, dude, I don't even want to get to their bullpen. Keep their starters in the game, because you get to their bullpen, you got these two crazies to deal with,
Yeah, dude. So there was a guy, Mike McDougal, that was an all-star, went to Wake Forest. I talked about him earlier today. The guy was throwing 101, and his ball was moving this much. There's so many of these dudes. As a matter of fact, I'll just rip through them. And they used a bunch of different metrics to try to determine the 10 fastest pitchers in MLB history. I'll roll through them now. 10, and I didn't realize this guy threw this hard, was Brad Lidge. 102 miles per hour.
Oh, Brad Lidge could run it up there. Oh, hell yeah.
How about Matt Lindstrom? I remember this dude.
I didn't face him.
Marlins, Houston, Colorado, Baltimore, Arizona, and the White Sox. He was a 10th round pick. But this dude threw straight Chad at 102. Justin Verlander, 102 miles per hour. He's at number 8. Number 7, though, Thrill, is a guy that we're both very familiar with, and a guy that I faced, Brian Wilson, 102.2. Number 6.
And I saw Brian after he had, had his surgeries and all that sort of stuff. He wasn't throwing no one-on-one. I promise you that. But he was effective.
Yeah, he had balls of steel, man.
Hell yeah, he did. All right, who else you got?
Number 6 was Jonathan Broxton, 102.8. He pitched for the Los Angeles Dodgers, threw that heavy-ass ball, man.
Yeah,
and it just it was a lot. So I felt like I faced him a bunch. I think I remember a hit or two off him, but this guy was straight filth when he was with the Dodgers. What happened here at the Astros game, by the way? They get a triple?
There's a man on third base, 0-2 with 1 out. He's going for the punch out right here.
All right, let's watch Jose Altuve for a second.
All right.
Because walk us through this at bat, because he's got 0 balls, 2 strikes facing Jordan Hicks. Obviously, Altuve, a savage at the dish. Look at that. That's how you fucking win baseball games. Right there, Thrill.
All he did was sacrifice himself. He knew the guy is going on contact. He said, I'm just going to put this ball in play. That's all he wanted to do. And he just got it in the perfect part of the field,
That is how and why Jose Altuve has been a multiple-time world champion. That is why he is one of the best hitters of our generation. The same pitch that he just flailed at, and ass out, whatever, head out, everything. Jordan Hicks comes back with the exact same offering, and he stays on it like a fucking dog. Dude, just a little weak ground ball up the middle with the infield in. They're going on contact, safe at home. Just fucking awesome.
That was one of those guys that we were talking about. I'm not striking out. I'm putting the ball in play, and I'm not walking back to the dugout, disgusted right here. And he gets an RBI out of it, helps his team. So, all right, who's number 5 on our list?
Number 5, a guy you certainly must have faced a bunch, Mark Wohlers, 103.
Mark Wohlers, Atlanta Braves in the middle of their run. Yeah, he could run it up there. I faced him a few times, but not as much as I faced like Smoltz, believe it or not. He was closing, and then also was Rocker. I faced Rocker a lot because he was left on left. So,
what was it like facing John Rocker?
Hell, this is just another one of them crazy left-handers. All right, I'm in there on him. I'll show you a few ABs off of him. Who's 4?
Number 4, Joel Zamaya, 104.8 miles per hour.
All right, we were in the same generation, but he was at the end of my career, and I never faced him. So, but he could run it up there. Number 3,
He certainly could pitch for the Tigers for a number of years.
Yep.
Number 3, and currently still pitching. So in the top 10 of guys that are still pitching, you only have Justin Verlander and this dude,
Aroldis
Chapman.
Yep.
106 miles per hour.
Yep. I mean, he just, hey, look, that's been his forte. It's been his forte from day one. People wanted him to throw the breaking ball wide when you can't catch up to his heater. So, anyway, number 2.
Number 2, as Bregman gets a little bit of a spinning sweeper, grounds out to third base.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one, Thrill. Number 2 on the list is Bob Feller, 107.6 miles per hour.
Rockin' Robert. Yeah. I'm throwing against the motorcycle. Hell yeah.
You ready for this? So he came up, he was 17 years old. He played from 1936 to 1941. He was then drafted where? Not to a team, but to the U.S. Army, and went and served in World War II from 1941 to 1945. He then resumed his career from 45 to 56. Bro, this guy apparently threw 107.6, and it stood as the fastest recorded pitch for 28 seasons.
That would be correct. Rockin' Robert. He, like a lot of people of his generation, went and served the military and missed time. He did it. Ted Williams did it. A bunch of others did it. Absolutely. I've met Bob Feller a bunch of times. I thoroughly enjoyed Bob Feller. I thought he was a great gentleman. So take that for what it's worth.
And Bob, we commend you and appreciate you for your service.
Yep.
Number 1.
And number 1, let me guess.
Hold on. Let me get the. I don't even know if the
number 1. There you go. It would be the Express, ladies and gentlemen. It would be the man from Alvin, Texas. The man, the myth, the legend. Number 34, but number 1 in your hearts, Nolan Ryan. Absolutely. Every time you stepped into batter's box, it's like, oh my God, I got my work cut out for me here.
Yeah, but this is also the same dude you went Fugazi off in your first big league at bat.
Yeah. People make a big deal about that and all that, but dude, it's still, my honor to have that freaking challenge stepping in the batter's box. It's unbelievable. Hey, while we're talking about this, all right, and you brought up the top 10, some freaking great names on there, but then we had talked about, the pitching and stuff earlier with everybody in the chat room. You guys remember this stuff, right? So the Dodgers, Unbelievable little rotation there. John Drysdale and the gentleman that I'm going to tell you a little story about, Mr. Sandy Koufax. Unbelievable. Giants, them, Juan Marichal, Gaylord Perry, always just a big clash, right? So one of the gentlemen that I had the privilege of being a locker mate with in spring training was Joey Amalfitano. Longtime San Francisco Giant infielder, and then also a longtime, Dodger coach. Somebody went bombo.
Just happened right there.
That was Brett Wisely. Brett Wisely with a bombo, baby. Look at you, Brett. Get your head out. That's what I'm talking about.
Thrill, let's take a look at this swing right here on the replay.
All right, let's see it.
Let's see it. The story. I don't care what people say about those City Connect UDs. I actually like them.
Yeah, because you're a freaking ice cream salesman.
Blanco comes right back here with a fastball.
Right, come on, hurry up and show a replay. Jesus Christ, what are y'all waiting on?
Another high fastball from Blanco.
Come on. Show us a replay.
At what point do we get to see it? How about Elliot Ramos' stats, though?
Jeez. Hey, look, he's been one of the guys, believe it or not, that have been holding this freaking team together for a little bit. All right, here we go. Here's a replay. A breaking ball down and in. I didn't get it down enough. Went into the left-hander hitter's hot zone.
But you don't want to throw a breaking ball down and into a lefty, do you?
No, if you're gonna get it, if you're gonna get it there, you got to get it down by his back knee and make it bite. And he just didn't do it.
The problem is you're speeding his bat up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and sometimes you're throwing into his bat speed too. So Joey Amalfitano and Sandy Koufax were like best buds, right? And Manny Ramirez had got traded over to the Dodgers, and he did whatever he did that first year or whatever. And he comes back for spring training. They're in Vero Beach, Florida, which was, the Dodgers spring training home for forever. And Sandy wanted to meet Manny Ramirez and just, welcome him to the Dodgers and all that sort of stuff. And so Mr. Joey Amalfitano said, I'll introduce you. So they go over and, they go up to Manny Ramirez and, hey, Manny, this is Sandy Koufax. He wanted to say hello, welcome you to the Dodgers and all that. And Manny said something stupid like, I heard about you. I'd love to hit off of you. And without even missing a beat, Sandy Koufax said, well, it'd be hard to hit off of me when you're on your ass the whole time. And he just turned around and walked off. I mean, I was like, oh my God, that was the freaking greatest line. If I got a chance to meet Sandy Koufax, I'd be like, Mr. Koufax, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming over, And instead, Manny Ramirez is going to be a prick about it, and freaking Sandy just freaking nails him. I'm like, yes, that's freaking old school right there.
Yeah, it's old school, man. I mean, Koufax was old school. He's been known too, by the way, and I didn't get to watch him pitch. But they said that dude fucking ran it up there, like triple digits.
So Sandy ran it up there triple digits, and so did Drysdale. And Sandy was a much nicer guy. Drysdale would drill you at the freaking drop of a hat. Matter of fact, if you talk to Willie Mays, he talks about Drysdale knocking him down every time he faced him. Every time he faced him, Drysdale was throwing one at Willie. And so Juan Marichal would freaking dust some of their guys too, because he's protecting Willie. And so that's where that bad blood, back in the 50s and stuff came from.
Well, once again, and I don't want to keep beating the drum, but I'm going to, because the drum was brought out by some of the current players in the Athletic and polling them and everything. But that's the other element of baseball back in the day that made it a lot more difficult for hitters. It was the fact that pitchers would fucking throw at you for no reason other than the fact that you just took a big swing. As a matter of fact, Drill, I got thrown at my first big league game because I took too big of a swing and fouled the ball off. Next pitch, you just shoo, and I didn't think anything of it. But sure as shit, it happened. Steve Reed was the dude that hit me.
It definitely happens. Oh, by the way, let me give a little props to your lovely bride. She has come into the chat room, and she dropped a Jerry Coleman on us. Look at you go, Tara. Very nicely done. That's first off. And then second off, what's for smell-o-vision, Tara? Come on, let's fork it over. All right.
And third off, hold on a second, Thrill. Third off, you can come up here and pick up your dog shit computer that was supposed to be the savior tonight that obviously did absolutely nothing.
Oh, my God.
Horrific reception. It didn't recognize my focus right. So I plugged this into the computer. It should have recognized it. It didn't recognize anything. So take this. Yeah, she was ranting and raving, but she's like, that's why I have a PC. I don't have a Mac. On and on and on. So I did the Daily Hustle this morning. I thought things went great. I'm like, man, maybe she's right. Well, no, you're not right. You're wrong. It was terrible.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
Oh, God.
you can have your computer back.
Hey, another thing, too. We even talked about this, all right? And somebody just mentioned in the chat room, somebody even mentioned about, you don't have to throw, so down goes Frazier, huh?
Look at this fucking guy. What a play.
Hey, freaking tuck your hat up under there. Tuck your helmet up.
Hey, Thrill. I mean, first of all, the fact that the odds of his hair right there being real are like slim to none. Okay. Second of all, him being out on that field, it's a safety hazard. The fact they're putting these fucking old dudes on the field, I mean, they're one missed line drive to the face from actually getting killed out there. I got a lot of respect for that guy just for being out there.
I am not only a customer, I'm the hair club president.
Damn right, man.
Oh, God, that's funny. Oh, shit. I love this game. Jesus Christ. So anyway, somebody said it just a minute ago in the chat room. I forget who it was, but, talking about, even though we just went over to the 10 dudes that, throw it through a brick wall, dude, some of the best that have ever been, damn near couldn't break a wet pane of glass, but they knew how to pitch. They knew what they were doing on the mound. They took advantage of guys, aggressiveness. They took advantage of the umpire's tendencies, all of that stuff. So for me personally, that's the beauty of this game. Look at Jose Altuve, arguably one of the best, second baseman to play this game. 5'0", nothing. Craig Biggio wasn't the biggest, baddest guy in the world. Hall of Famer. You look at this game of baseball, and you do not have to be the biggest, baddest guy in the world. You got to want to win. You got to want to compete, and that's why I love it.
John Singleton hit a ball like way into the bay, and then McCovey Cove Dave came rolling by in his kayak and swooped that thing up in a hurry.
Yeah, and then because and by the way, we had a pitcher timeout violation, so that's how he got back in the count, because we had him 0-2, and so now we mess around with him, throw a breaking ball, and we wind up walking him instead of throw a fastball away, let him hit the ball a big part of the yard. So I don't know. That's how we roll.
Dude, I still can't get over that Altuve one. That just he's the throwback, man. Like, he is literally what you would want in every baseball player.
Okay, so here's
Jake Myers.
So here's one for you. All right, check this one out. All right, because Battleborn's gonna love this one. All right, and I faced him a ton. I still know him. I know him well. I see him every now and then. John Tudor with the St. Louis Cardinals. John Tudor was a two-time back-to-back 20-game winner. And then the third year, he had 19 wins going into the last game of the season, and he got a no decision. And he went 9 innings. He was trying to go back to back to back, 20-game winners, and he never broke 84, 85 miles an hour. Fastball, changeup, every now and then a breaking ball, but knew what the shit he was doing. And there you go. Jamie Moyer. You faced Jamie Moyer. You faced Jamie Moyer. I mean, he spent, 24 years in the big leagues? All he did, fastball, changeup, little slider. You know? I mean, dude.
Well, he cut me. I finally got him at the end of my career, but he cut me up. I mean, it was terrible facing that guy.
Yeah.
And I finally got him. I was leading off for the Diamondbacks. He was pitching for Philadelphia. He was, I think, like 67 years old at the time. And threw a fastball, first pitch of the game. I fucking tattooed that bitch to center field. Took all my aggression out on him and my frustration from him getting me out for all those years. And then came up the next at bat, sat on a changeup, first pitch, and ended up busting his ass again. That's some thrill shit right there, right?
You're like, finally, I got even with his ass. So
yeah, I see, dude. What made him so effective is he threw 79 miles per hour with a little cut to his
crazies behind you. Those are two of my dads right there. Especially the one on the right. That son of a gun. Oh, what a beauty! What a beauty! And then
how those guys doing, man?
You know what? Uncle Dwayne's doing good. He's over the cancer stuff and all that. And, he's holding down the fort. Big Mike's having a rough go of things physically, but you'll never hear it out of his mouth, and he shows up and does his thing just like a fucking true pro. See, that's the one right there. Right? That's the one right there with Chappie. That's the one. You saw how he's up underneath that one? He fell back on that one. That's the one he needs to stay tall on.
Yeah, he's a little out on his front foot, too.
Yeah, but that's okay. If you're out on your front foot, you ain't falling back on your back-ass leg.
Okay. Breaking
all right, you see how he fell back on that one? See how he fell back on that one? So now he's up under – that's 2 breaking balls away, and he's under both of them. So now you got to make an adjustment here, dude. And you're going to see
2 balls, 2 strikes.
And you're going to see another breaking ball, by the way. So might as well sit on it.
Yeah, there's no way they're going back to the fastball, right?
If they do, they're stupid.
You go to it, and he hits it hard, but he grounds it to third base.
That's why we fucking hit for a living right there. Because we just proved we couldn't hit this pitch twice in a row, but you're going to still throw me a fastball, you dumbass.
Yeah, you're just kind of getting in your own way at that point.
Yeah, no. And people say, well, he made it out. Well, yeah, he made it out, but you still went to the wrong pitch.
No, bro, he took a great swing. He barreled it up. Yeah. Took a great swing and barreled it up. That's not. It's like
he proved to me he couldn't hit it, but yeah, we're going to throw to his bat speed or whatever it is. Stupid.
Yeah. All right. Here's Michael Conforto. He had a good swing in his last at bat, a deep fly ball.
Yes, he did.
To left center field. He's looking awfully hitterish.
He is. That was a changeup right there.
Look at Rodel Blanco, 6 starts after an Astros loss, 5-0 record, a 1.60 ERA. So
another changeup.
Done a really good job of stopping the bleeding, so to speak.
See, this is where the game's changed right there. I mean, that's a 2-0 changeup. A freaking 2-0 changeup, right? It's like, what are you scared of, dude? It's 415 feet out there. Throw a fastball away. And you're in cold air. The ball doesn't travel near as good,
Mm-hmm. He took again, like you go back to the first at bat, he took a great swing, hit it deep, and it was an out.
Yeah, and it's an out. And then now because you mess around with the 2-0 changeup, now you at 3-2, you've wasted 2 more pitches.
Those nachos look good,
man. If I had to guess, I'd have to guess this is 3-2 changeup. If I had to guess. I'm not hitting, I hadn't paid no attention, but that's where I'd have to go with this.
There it is. 85 miles per hour.
There you go. I mean, seriously. I mean, I mean, I hate to do this all the time, and we do this in the chat room all the time. It's like, you know, you just pay attention to the game. You get that feeling in the back of your brain. It's like if he threw a 2-0 changeup, what do you think he's going to throw 3-2? You know, or if he doesn't throw it 3-2, if he does throw a fastball, I'm going to emergency hack it, get a foul ball, and get back in there, and he'll probably throw it the next pitch. So, it just that right there is how you sit on pitches. That's how you hit. You know, that's how you hit for a high average. You know, you cut the plate in half. I mean, the whole works. So, anyway.
Thrill, do you like churros? That little girl is just.
Oh, she's smoking one. There's one. There they are right there. Nice.
That looks like some garlic bread, doesn't it?
No, is that what that is? Garlic bread?
That's what it looks like.
I can tell you one thing. That's the one thing about Oracle. Oh my God. You want something to eat? You can find whatever the shit you want to eat. I'm not a big, huge churro guy. I'm more of a when I go to the yard, I like my dogs and go from there.
I mean, when you go to the ballpark, you go hang out. Your work's basically done. You're in the suites. You're just mingling with fans. Do you pull out? I mean, what do you go? A Coors Light and a dog? I
go Coors Light and a dog, dude. And I'm up in the suite level, and then I start schmoozing. And every time I walk around, I go, you know, suite to suite. You know, I go in there, and somebody will say, "Hey, you want a beer?" And I go, "Hell yeah! I didn't show up for no apparent reason. I gotta help you drink your stash, dude. Let's go. Give it up."
Do you ever show up in a suite and, like, I don't know, say 4 or 5 30-year-olds just kind of whatever, you walk in and they have no idea who the fuck you are?
No. Normally most people do. The people that don't know who I am are just not baseball fans, and they're there just to hang out, you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but a lot of the sweet people are just they're not baseball fans. They're just there to hang out.
Yeah. I mean, like so like let's say if I go into like one of the bank, you know, suites, you know, I'll go in there and like there'll be 3 or 4 people that'll know who I am, and the rest of them are like, "Who's this dude? You know, why is he in here? Why we got to give him a beer?" You know, that kind of shit. It's like, because you're a wuss and I'm a beer drinker, so give me a beer, goddammit.
Yeah, or get the fuck out of my suite and my stadium, bitch.
I spend more time in this suite than you do, you biatch.
I built this motherfucker. Fuck off.
I don't know about all of that.
Oh, sorry. I was getting ahead of myself.
Hey, you know what? You know what's fun though? What's fun though is, you know, I mean, we do this every week, you know, where we sit there and, you know, you like throw what's coming and shit like that. I do it in the suites, right? And people like legitimately like look at me and they go, "How did you know?" You know, and it's like, well, kind of been there, done that type of thing. And that's kind of what I do for the team, kind of try to teach that a little bit, you know, so it's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. But San Francisco, oh my God almighty. Great food, dude. Awesome.
It is.
Not only the freaking dogs and the brats and all that and the garlic fries, but then those little freaking crab sandwiches, those little crab sliders. Oh, dude, are they good? Woo.
So I'm glad you brought up the crab, because they had a thing that Giuseppe Pepe Manueli sent me on Instagram the other day, and they talked about the crab mascot that they had in, I think it was
the crazy crab in the 70s. Yeah.
Is it true that they used to boo that fucking thing?
They not only booed him, they absolutely abused him. Uh-oh. We got cut off, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know. I don't know whether he's going. Oh, there you are. Did we get cut off? Did we get cut off?
No, I'm still here. I got a call. You're on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So I got a call on my phone.
Oh,
that was exactly what happened.
All right. So anyway,
random.
Yeah, so no, the crazy crab would just get abused, man. He'd come around whether he was running or whether he was in a car or whatever. But like all the guys in the bullpen would throw shit on him. Every day they had a different mix down there. I mean, they had lemonade one day, then the next day they had baby powder and water, and I mean they just abused this freaking dude. And so literally, like, I don't know, it might have been a year or two. Josh, how long ago was it? But I think it was maybe a year or two before I came into the big leagues and they did away with the crazy crab.
They got rid of the crab.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear my wife's view of the treatment, the abuse of the crazy crab, because I don't know if you know this, Thrill, but Tara, my lovely bride, was the backup fryer when she worked for the San Diego Padres.
Oh, Tara, I love the fact that you got in the fryer costume. I could just picture you running around in the fryer costume, Tara. Nicely done. Nicely done.
You know what? I'm not saying this to celebrate my wife, although I should, or to brag by any means or anything else. But as you know, Tara was Miss California. So the humility to be like a reigning Miss California and then hopping into a fucking fryer outfit is fantastic. I got to give her credit for that.
Dude, she just put it in the chat room. She said, here I am, Miss California. I'm hot. I got everything going for me in the world. And I'm going to live my life as an 8-foot tall, bald, fat guy running around in a fryer costume.
Did she really say that?
She said it. Yeah, I'm repeating it for you. There you go. She's a freaking beauty. We love her. Thank you, Tara. Thank you.
I usually don't think Tara's that funny, but man, that's some funny shit.
Dude, she says some funny shit. You just too close to the action.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so there's another one right there. All right, this guy hits a freaking ball off the wall, right? He missed a slider by 6 feet, and we throw him a fastball right down the middle. Why didn't we throw him another slider? So
here's a situation. You got runners at second and third. No outs. 2-1 count. It's at a 2-0 count right there. Jordan Hicks is in some trouble, man. 61 pitches into it.
Yeah. He's 61 pitches into it, and he's facing their catcher, Caratini. So we'll see if he doesn't get the best of him. Oh, geez. There's a deal 55-footer. So Josh came on here because I knew Josh would know. The Crazy Crab was out of there in 85. So it was actually right before I got there. I thought it was out a few years earlier, but anyway.
Did they hold any kind of service for the Crazy Crab?
Oh, hell no. I mean, people were cheering when he didn't come back. So
yeah, but I mean, essentially, you're killing the crab. I think I'll do respect.
And I mean, I hate to say it, all that sort of stuff, but then now, we got Lucille, and the gentleman's name that's in there is Joel. Absolutely one of the best ever. And believe it or not, I did not know this because Joel and I talk about it, because I see him a lot in the ballpark. But a lot of times when other mascots are like down and, have an injury or they got to be out of town or something like that, each mascot will take up for him. So he's went over there and he became the A's elephant dude a few times. Then he's gone out of town. I know he went and did Cleveland when Slider broke his leg. He went and did Slider for a little while in Cleveland. So, my freaking compliments to Joel. Lucille, who is the best going.
All right, Thrill, you have Jose Altuve coming up right now. You have first base open. There's 1 out. A great job by Hicks getting the strikeout on Caratini. So it's going to be Altuve, and then Bregman and Yordan Alvarez is after him. If you walk Altuve, here's the problem. You're guaranteed to face Alvarez in the inning, just about, unless Bregman hits into a double play. That's why I do not walk Altuve in this situation.
I agree with you. And on top of that, it's the 5th inning. It's still, 4 innings left in the game. You still need to stay on the attack and not set up double play balls and all that sort of shit. You just got to make some good pitches on him.
I don't love the fact that Giants have their infield in. I don't love that just because I don't know. I mean, it's one run. Like
that right there is not a baseball thing. That is a freaking metrics stat thing. That has been, from their last regime, they bring the infield in all the time in like the third and fourth. I'm like, what are we doing? So
just trying to prevent. I mean, I'll take it out.
That metric thing. So
he goes ahead 0-2 on Altuve right away. The lefty Rogers is in the bullpen. He is going to be summoned if Alvarez gets to the dish in the top half of the fifth inning.
So now let's do this. All right. He looked terrible on the slider his last at bat, but he got an RBI. He looked terrible on that slider. Throw him another slider. There we go. Good. That's the way you think. All right. So now, all right, we wasted one. Now let's throw him another slider, but let's make it look a little bit better so that maybe he'll chase. Now, that's another thing. Going back on that, you saw Altuve's take. He's one of the few guys that you'll see that collapses on that back leg like that.
Well, he just took another slider, so now he's 2-2. And again, they have first base open, so they could walk him.
But even though that was a slider, 1-2, he threw it right down the middle of the plate, just down. That's not where you want to miss with a slider. You want to miss with a slider away on the outside corner.
You want to have it start as a strike, too. I mean, that one, I don't even know if it ever started as a strike, right?
This would be a good spot. This would be a good spot to try a fastball in. Just try to sneak one in. Let's see.
I agree.
This would be a great spot. Uh-oh, he's coming in.
They're going for it. Filthy.
Oh!
Wow.
Goodness, we both call that one. Very nicely done. Very nicely done, Eric Byrnes. You are catching on to the guessing game.
I'm logging it in right now to make sure that Henry, our social media genius over at No Filter Network, pulls that clip because that was
we both guessed that one
in its own right.
And we just got it right on the screws. Uh-oh. Oof. That was a slider missed by a mile.
Well, good job by Bailey. In front. Huh?
No, I like. Bailey did a good job. He picked that one. That was in the other batter's box, but I like the call from Bailey. Hey, we're coming in on you. We ain't gonna stay out there the whole time. We're not scared of you. I like that.
Mm-hmm. There's the two-seam fastball away. So 2-0. I'm not fucking with Yordan Alvarez. And if I'm Hicks, I know this is my last batter, and I walk him. Do I want to leave my fate up to a relief pitcher coming in? Hell no. I'm going right after Bregman in this situation. I will not walk him. I give up the dock, but I'm not walking him. There it is, ground ball. Right at him. Make a fucking play. Barehanded jab. They don't fucking the ball.
God damn it.
Gosh dang. Fuck. Come on, dude. Catch the ball over there. It's not Chappie's fault. What a play. I got to see this again on replay.
Oh, they got to show it. Don't worry.
There's a chopper. I just do or die.
Swing and bunt, bare hand, throws on the run.
All right. So, Will, Gold Glover, played 15 years in the big leagues as a big league first baseman. I have a question for you. Do you catch that ball?
Yes. You know why? Because anytime you have a infielder coming at you and he's going to throw from the side, he's going to throw you a sinker. He's not going to throw anything else. So the throw is going to be up the line. So you kind of anticipate that throw is going to be up the line. The problem that Wilmer Flores has is he's not left-handed. So he can't stretch into the line because he thinks he's going to get hit. And so he kind of, I don't want to say he babied it, but he wasn't going to get hit and the ball gets by him.
If nothing else, Thrill, even if you have to come off just a tad, Like it's this,
Yeah.
and we slap him on top of the head.
Yeah, and especially if you got to come off early. You know, you got to read that throw quick, come off early, and it looked like kind of Wilmer got stuck. It looked like he was already anticipating it was going to be a good throw. So.
All right, Thrill. Hey, good shit, man. Sorry for the technical difficulties today. I got Tara calling dinner downstairs, but it did.
Hey, you got a little
great show, man.
You got a little stir fry, so you're gonna be loving life on the stir fry. Tara, thanks for your participation as the fryer. All right, 8 foot tall bald guy. So thank you, dude. I thought it was a great show, man. We we had a little technical difficulties in there, but I mean, all the rest of the stuff really came out good. I mean, we talked about the hitters, from yesterday to today, pitchers yesterday, today, just guys in general, yesterday, today, and I'm waiting on my motorboaters gear so that we can freaking together and then go from there.
Oh, dude, bro, I can't wait. It took a while for it to arrive. I have a feeling they're doing well with themselves, but yeah, mine finally came. Then as soon as I got mine, you said you hadn't gotten yours yet. I actually, that was when I realized that they didn't have your address. So I texted you, got the Addy.
Well, they're not supposed to have my address, so there you go. But hey, dude, I mean, great show. I'll be around next week. Let's do it again.
All right, bro. I appreciate you. I'll figure out this internet thing and throw away Tara's PC by next week.
Yeah, we'll get it going. Evidently, Alvarez just got a base hit too. So anyway,
so of course he did.
Yeah,
that's rough, man. I mean, that's the type of play that hurts.
Yeah. But hey, look, like I said before, it's the 5th inning. We got to find a way to score anyway. So no biggie. So here we go.
Listen, they need to get it out right here.
Yeah,
they still got a chance.
Yep. So
look at Alvarez.
Look,
taking
great show. Great show. Hey, man, everybody in the chat room, you guys were freaking awesome all day. Y'all stayed with us the whole time, even though we were having technical difficulties. Y'all had some great questions and shit in there. Awesome job. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, Thrill. See ya!